right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name is Bob Nelson. I am the Communications Director for the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. And tonight, we are going to do a very informal presentation about mining sort of the gold field opportunity of the Mesa Chamber membership that you've been given as a green flag participant. Joining me tonight, I do have some Mesa Chamber members. I have a Mesa Chamber ambassador, Elizabeth Irizarry. And I also have a very tenured and wonderful chamber member and also a future presenter in this series, Mr. Keith Lawson. So thank you both for being there. And I also have Joan Kruger, who is both a wonderful chamber member, and she's also a coaching counselor on the chamber side to help our Green Flag participants. So please do not hesitate to reach out if you should need anything. So the reason that I created this this opportunity was I wanted to share with the Green Flag participants the things that they can do with their chamber membership. So for your first year of chamber membership as a part of the Green Flag program, you are provided that membership at no cost. And what we want to do is, because you are starting a brand new business and you are, just kind of figuring out the lay of the land on all of this, we want to give you guys the opportunity to really engage with all of the experts out there that are already chamber members. So the Elizabeths, the Keiths, the Jones, everybody out there in our 900 plus members that has knowledge that can help you move your business forward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some hacks and some tricks in regards to utilizing some of the more technical pieces of your chamber web or your chamber access. And then I'm happy to open it up to let these guys, since they were kind enough to join me tonight, talk about some of the ways that they maximize their chamber membership. So I'm going to real quick share my screen. And so if you have a question, please don't hesitate to just say, hey, could you stop for a minute because I have a question. So let's share this screen. Oops, we want that screen. Just tap to share. Okay, so if it looks like I'm kind of looking off to the side, it is actually because the monitor is off to the side. So my apologies in advance. So here is the mesachamber.org website, and there's a few different things right on this website without ever even logging in that you can make use of. And so like the first hack that I'm going to tell you is all of our new members get rotated through on a nice little feed right here on the website. So one of the important things about your chamber membership is the opportunity to meet other people, to meet other members. And so any opportunity that you have to introduce yourself, to say hi, to say, hey, I'd love to sit with you and talk to you about your business. Those are all opportunities using the fact that you are a chamber membership or a chamber member to engage and take advantage of that. So the first hack that I'm going to give you is this new member list. So, hi, Josh. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do an example of how to utilize this. So in the morning, you get your cup of coffee, right? So here's your cup of coffee. Got your cup of coffee. You log in, you pull up the site, and you look over here and you say, oh, look, there's some new members that I have not reached out to as yet. So Bloom Insurance. So you click on Bloom Insurance. That's going to take you to the Bloom Insurance sort of detail page within our directory. And you want to say hi to Bloom Insurance. So you're going to go ahead and say, oh, I want to request some information. And that's going to take you to a very nice little page. Now, mind you, you haven't logged in yet. So you have not even logged in and you're already reaching out to engage another chamber member. So in this case, I'm going to say, oh, look, here's my name. Now everybody knows where I live. Just don't come and bother me while I'm sleeping. And I'm going to use a sample business, which is only sample because, because it is what it is. Anyway, so, but I'm going to say Mesa, Arizona, 85201. And I'm not going to put my phone number in there. But I'm going to get down here and I'm going to give them my email address. And I've kind of cheated a little bit. I actually prepared a little email message ahead of time. So I'm going to come in here and say, welcome to the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. And then I'm just going to pop that in there. And I've actually already written a nice little note that says, hi, my name is Bob Nelson, and I just wanted to send you a letter welcoming you to the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Tells them my organization, and it says, I'd love to schedule a time when we can either meet in person or virtually to hear more about your business. And this is the key element here, right? I'm not reaching out to them to tell them what I'm selling. I'm reaching out to them to ask them about their business. So I want to know about what they're doing. So then I keep going, and then I give them my contact email. And then I, of course, throw out a little plug for the chamber. Welcome to the chamber. They're a great team, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And then I sign it. And then a little bit at the end, I have a particular communication style that works for me. So I tend to inject just a touch of little humor into what I do, as Joan laughs at me and Keith laughs at me, and I'm sure Elizabeth is like rolling her eyes right now. But this way, you're reaching out to that new member and you're introducing yourself and you are now engaging them. So you say, I'm not a robot, and you hit submit. Bam, now you've just reached out to that new member. You go home, you say, oh, look, there's a bunch more. So you could actually reach out. You can reach out to any member that's in the directory using this method. So any member that you are interested in learning more about, you can engage them using what I just showed you. And to be honest, you don't even need your login to do it. You just find the member you're interested in. You know, let's say I'm interested in publishing. Oops. I don't know what's going to show up because I didn't test that ahead of time. So you search for publishing and you say, oh, look, there's a few different publishers here. Oh, look, there's Brickade Media. Okay, great. So this is Brickade Media. And then I can do the same thing. I can just connect them with them there. So if you're looking to build and start to talk to people, which is for most people, a lot of what they want to do with their chamber membership is start those conversations. This is a great way to start those conversations. The reason being is that if I get that email and I look at that email and I say, well, so-and-so says they're this business, are they real? They can come to the chamber site, search the business and find out, oh, it's real. Okay, so that person's legit. I can answer it. Now, I do know a few things about that process that you probably don't know. Those emails go into a queue that I have to approve as the chamber communications director. So I look at them to make sure that they are not just spam emails, to make sure that they're not just, I want you to buy my widgets emails, and that they are legitimate. I'm reaching out to you because I'm interested in who you are and what you're doing. So I do act as a bit of a gatekeeper on that when it comes to members interacting with each other on that. But that works out really well. So that's sort of the first, if you will, hack on that. And I'm going to kind of give you guys a minute to kind of chat on that. Keith, anybody, Elizabeth, have you guys used that at all or did anything with that?
I have not, but that's part of the reason I'm here, right? To the continued growth and learning new things, because I've been a chamber member for a number of years now, and was using more the face-to-face interactions. Mm-hmm. This is great information to know.
It's absolutely, and I would, I kind of know how often we process new memberships. So I would say about once every 3 or 4 days to just visit the site and check and see if there are any new listings. So, because, once you kind of reached out to the people that you want to reach out to that are in the directory, really it's just kind of keeping an eye to see who the new people are, to see if there's anybody amongst the new people that you might want to reach out to and engage with, right? So every 3 or 4 days, just first thing in the morning, pop to the site, look at those new member lists and see if there's any new members that are interesting to you.
Appreciate the tip.
Go ahead.
I just appreciate the tip. As I said, that's, part of coming to these events.
Now, so I do want to take a step back because there was a piece that I didn't cover before I started this that I kind of do want to touch on because it's a critical element. And that is about understanding what your goals are. So what do you want to get out of your chamber membership? So I took the opportunity to do just a touch of ahead of work. And I just put in the chat, like, if with my sample business, we'll use my sample business as an example. These are the things that I want to achieve with my chamber membership. So I want people to know about my business. I want them to know that I exist, right? I want to interact with more prospects. So in the case of my sample business, it's a book publisher. So I'm looking for people that are readers. So I want more people that are readers to interact with my business. I want to contribute to the community. That is usually the top 1 or 2 reasons that people join their chamber, is because they really want to be engaged in their community. And then the last one that I put was I want to connect with other businesses in the sphere of my industry. So I want to connect with other businesses that are engaged in either reading or publishing or anything like that. And I'll kind of show you how you can utilize that to your advantage. So real quick, Maureen, I think you're in fashion, right? That's kind of what you were. Am I, give me a nod. Yeah, no, maybe, go away.
No Maureen there, it's Taryn.
I'm sorry, Taryn. I'm sorry, I thought it was Maureen. So Taryn, you're centered around a fashion idea, is that right? Okay. And so you want to connect with other businesses that can either assist you in building your business, or once your business has started and you're making product, kind of help you get it out there so people can see it and be sold, right? I mean, that's kind of the gist of why we all do this. And Josh, tell me again what your business is.
It's vending, Bob. It's nice to meet you. I
Nice
really
to
only
meet you.
had a few minutes. I'm just on break. I'm in the middle of work. I didn't get a chance to reply to Daniel your email. I had just seen it, and then it kind of worked out for me to take break right now and kind of hop in, and I figured it'd be good to show face.
Cool. So let's actually, vending will be really quick, and I'll try and do something here for you while you're still with us. If you need to go, just jump out. Don't worry about it. But let's say, for example, you're starting a vending company and you want to interview other vendors. So you want to interview other businesses that do the similar type of work, because you kind of want to start to glean some of that industry business, right? Some of that industry knowledge, institutional knowledge that you can use in your own business. So let me go back over real quick. And this is an extension of that contact thing. So let's do, I don't know if they renewed, so I'm going to see if, yeah, they did. So I know in the chamber we have this vendor, and they are a vendor. So they do exactly, I won't say exactly, but they do very similar work to what you are interested in. So this would be somebody that you could reach out to and say, hey, can I meet with you? Because I'm interested in this industry and I want to learn more about it. So you use your request info button. And since you weren't here when I started that, I'll kind of just bring it up. But this lets you send them an email. This lets you send them an outreach that says, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'd love to make a time to talk with you about vending and how to be a successful vendor. So you can learn how to improve your own business with that institutional knowledge of the other chamber members. And I know, because I have been in this for a little while now, and I know that Keith, and I know everybody will back me up on this, chamber members are very generous with their knowledge. Very generous. They want everyone that's a member to succeed with them, even if they're the same industry. So that's one of the huge benefits that you're going to get out of chamber membership, is you're going to be surrounded by, 800, 900 businesses that want you to succeed. So don't hesitate to start picking people's brains. So with that, I'm going to ask Joan and Keith and Elizabeth to pop their info into the chat so that if anybody wants to follow up with them, they can. And then I'll move on to the next thing. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with your chamber membership, and a lot of it is technical. So right now, in the age of COVID, we don't do hardly any in-person events like we would normally do. Normally, I'd have Elizabeth running around the city, 4 or 5 times a week doing something. But unfortunately right now we can't. So in place of that, I try to help people understand all of the technology-based solutions that they have available to them. So I'm going to go ahead and share again. This is your chamber login right here. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. So everybody that is a chamber member, including my green flag guys, you guys should have a login. If you don't, then either let myself know or let Dan know. I think that's my right one. Yeah, okay. So this is my sample company. And by sample, I mean it's a chamber member that has been a chamber member for 4 years now. Anyway, so when you log in, this is what your website looks like on the back end. This is what the chamber website looks like to you as a member. And you'll notice that there's a lot of different options here. The whole point of an association like a chamber, whether it's a chamber itself or whether it's another association, is to give the members of the association the ability to interact with each other at a bunch of different levels. And so this is geared to give you that ability. So when you log in, it's got, of course, access to a directory, so you can see all the chamber members and you can organize them any way you choose. It's got the calendar of events. So this would be the same calendar of events that you would see on the front of the website. You have access to a bunch of different resources. Like, for example, you actually have some storage space. So if you want to store some files, you have a little bit of storage space to do that. You can look at how many people view your profile on the chamber website. So you can actually see how many people look you up over the course of the previous 12 months. And then, of course, there's news. So this is going to be one of the things that I touch on briefly. You, as a member, can post the news that you're making. So, for example, let's say Dan has a baking business, and Dan's decided to make a very special cake for Memorial Day, and he wants to make it available ahead of time. So Dan can actually log into his account. Dan's Baking is the name of his business, because he's working on a new name, but this is what he's got so far. So he'll log into his business and it'll say Dan, and actually this is a picture of Dan up here in the corner. That's Dan. Very good looking guy, Dan. But you'll notice over here, there's a ton of different choices. So Dan wants to tell people about what his new cake is. So he's going to hit this news button, and this news button is going to take him to a page where it's all these news releases. So you can actually read other people's news releases if you want. So we post all of the city's procurement stuff and things like that. But Dan doesn't care about procurement. Dan wants to tell you about his new cake. So Dan is going to say, I want to add a news release. Right? So Dan's now got this news release, and it is, hang on, I've actually prepped not a Dan related news release, but I prepped another news release to put out here to kind of give you an idea what's going on. So you just kind of fill in the information. And one of the important things about when you want to tell people about what you're doing is you've got to organize your thoughts, and you've got to really kind of make sure that it's easy to read, that it goes quick, that people can get the information they want. But you can tell them all kinds of stuff. Like you can give them, Dan's making this new cake. It's going to be available these dates. It's got this flavoring in it. It costs this much. You can get a discount if you call him at home at 11 o'clock at night. But it's got all this stuff that people can engage with in terms of, Dan. So, and then you can say, oh, well, this is a community, and this is a general news article. So you can, you kind of tailor it. You can put in a logo if you want, and then you can say, oh, okay, my personal representative, Bob Nelson, will be the person that handles contact on this press release. And then you can say, submit it. So now I see all of the press releases that Dan's put in the past. And that too will go into a queue where the communications director, the overworked Mesa Chamber communications director, will eventually look at it and make sure that it looks good and then approve it. And once it's approved, you'll see it right here. Member news, front of the site, until a couple more come in. So it actually gets front of site visibility. And you can always go to it up here in the news. So you can see member news. And that lists all the member news. No, it won't show mine. It wasn't approved yet. But the other piece of that, and this is an important element too, is that we share that to our social media. So if you go to Facebook, and hopefully none of my friends are doing something they shouldn't be doing right now. There we go. I'll just quickly get to the chamber page. But it will automatically post those out to our social media. So you can see different things that it's automatically sending out. In this case, here's an information and updates post. Here's an event that Teresa, literally our administrative assistant, literally just put out at 4:50, and that kind of thing. So this gives you the ability to take information that you want to share with others and disseminate it. And it goes to our Facebook page, it goes to our Twitter page. And so you're getting that extra sort of boost on what you want to communicate to audiences that you wouldn't normally have access to. And that's really the key element there. These are audiences that because you're focused in a particular industry, you may not have access to all of these audiences that could benefit you. And that's what our job is, to make sure we have that access. Now, you need somebody to work for you. You can post a job. So different people post jobs. Here's one that not a lot of people take advantage of, and we actually have a little social media feed inside the login. So before I started this Zoom call, I actually posted something just so you can kind of see what it would look like. But you can throw a picture into this social media feed. So Taryn, if you just design something fresh, it's ready, it's done, you want to take a picture of it, you can actually throw a picture onto this social media feed and say, if you like it, click the little like button at the bottom and tell me. And it's a way for you to use your chamber peers almost as a sounding board or an audience for you. And you'll notice that all kinds of things kind of pop up in this feed. So Patty Hughes uses it on a pretty regular basis. She'll actually post articles from her website and blog posts and stuff like that. And then our events and our jobs will post in here as well. Rosa Roy, because she runs a temporary employment agency, she's fairly frequent in notifying us that she needs jobs, so those pop up pretty quick or pretty often. But it's a great communication tool. So that kind of gives you access to people on a level that maybe you hadn't thought of before. Sort of the last of the tech tips that I would kind of want to give you is I want to talk about the actual profile itself. So let's say you don't necessarily have time right now to build a website. This can actually be a tiny website for you. So you can actually put a nice graphic up top that showcases kind of who you are and what you do, right? You can throw in your logo, so you can give people an idea of your logo. You can put in video, so you can actually show people that. You can do pictures, so different pictures of, in your case there, we close, or the manufacturing process, or whatever you do. You can create an about us, so you can say this is the description of my business. And there's something else that you can do that not a lot of people take advantage of. So you can actually put like sublinks into your profile. So let's say, for example, and Taryn, I'm going to pick on you because you're my only green flag person here. But let's say you have 4 different clothing lines, and each of those 4 clothing lines is geared to a different client. You can create a link to each of the 4 lines on your site, on your separate website, and link to them right from your profile. So in this case, my sample company has a page on Amazon. So you can actually say, oh, I want to go see what it looks like on Amazon, and it'll take you right to the Amazon page, and they can buy from you there. You can say, oh, I want to just buy their books direct. So you can do that, and that'll pop up eventually their website, so you can actually buy direct from them if that's what you want to do. You can put your appearance schedule. So for example, if you're going to do showings and you've got a calendar of events that you want people to be able to know, you can link here, or obviously you can put them right up into the member calendar. And you can actually just list whatever you're doing in the member calendar, and then that will populate out to our social media as well. So that's a pretty cool tool in addition to that. So there's a lot of power. And of course, as you can see, there's all kinds of social media stuff you can put in there as well. So, if you've got a YouTube channel, go right to the YouTube channel. You can do Pinterest, you can do Instagram. They pretty much give you full flexibility on that. So this gives you the ability to build like a microsite. And the reason that this is important is because all by itself, this sample company maybe gets 500 website visits a month. But collectively, this chamber website gets 10,000 unique visitors every month. So 10,000 unique people come to this website every month. So it gives you a much bigger audience to play to than you would if you were by yourself. And the important thing about that is if you couple that, of course, with looking at your stats, right? So you say, okay, I want to go see how many people have visited my profile. I know that 758 people have visited my profile in the last 12 months. So you can keep tabs kind of on how you're doing. And if you want more detail, you can actually reach out to Linda. Linda is our membership benefits person, and she can actually pull some additional details. So she can tell you how many people clicked on your website link, how many people did this, how many people did that. So it helps you to see how you're leveraging this tool to your benefit. So let me get out of there. Very good. Okay, so what questions do you guys have so far?
So I will ask, for Taryn, you were using the examples for inserting individual websites into her page. Was that right?
Yeah, into the profile.
The links into the profile. Right. So for example, if I had commercial real estate listings in Mesa that might be of interest, I could do that.
You could. So you can do up to 6 of them, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's plenty. Okay.
Now in your case, Joan, because your listings change rather frequently, you do want to kind of keep tabs on it because, you know, you're going to want to swap them out once
Yeah,
something
actually in commercial real estate, right, Keith, they don't move all that fast.
Oh.
So, but no, I would absolutely, that's part of like Taryn and what you're trying to tell her
Mhm.
about how she can maximize exposure. That's part of my marketing responsibility is to make sure that I'm tracking all of those kinds of links. So it would be in my regular activity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
and
cool.
you should, regardless of whether it's your chamber profile, your personal, you know, your business website, even your social medias, you should always schedule yourself time to revisit those so that you give it the attention that it needs. We're so in the moment now with how we consume our data and how we consume our information that if I go to a Facebook profile and I notice the last post on that Facebook profile was more than 90 days ago, like I'm gone. Like, all right, they obviously don't care enough to keep it up to date. I'm out. But if it was, you know, yesterday, the day before, even 4 or 5 days ago, you know that that person's paying attention to what they're doing. So that's like that first barrier to entry that creates some legitimacy for you to pay attention to them. So always, 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 regardless of whether it's chamber things or non-chamber things or whatever, block out specific time for yourself to do that. I've got a standing calendar event the first Monday of every month, basically, to go through as much chamber stuff as I can in, you know, an hour and a half and see if there's stuff that needs to be updated, see if there's stuff that's out of date, see what's going on. And even that doesn't give me near enough time to approach all of the things that we do. But I think if you give yourself that block, however long that is, you give yourself a tool to make sure that you're presenting your best foot forward, if you will. And anything, you can link to anything with those 6 links. So for a while, the sample company linked to a Patreon. So they were trying to do the sample company was trying to do a Patreon. So, you know, there was a link there that said support our Patreon and it linked out to the Patreon. So there's all kinds of flexibility that you have with that. You can link out to Facebook. You can link out to any social medias. You can link out, anything's got a URL. You can link out to.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, it's working. I think the main question I had was in terms of utilizing the Mesa Business of Commerce. Am I looking for people that can help me in terms of building my business, like somebody who's in a similar business to me, or would it be kind of looking for people that I could learn from in terms of I need to set my accounting up for my business and then I look for somebody who's along those lines that I can learn from and help, you know, that can help me?
So I'm gonna softball that over to Keith because Keith and Elizabeth are probably they're better at answering that than I am.
Well, Taryn, it's both. It's both, right? So as a community and being a part of, you know, one of my reasons for joining, right? Bob said there's different reasons. I moved here and made this Mesa my home. I've lived in Mesa for 30 summers now. And that's how I count it, by summers. And I want to be part of my community, right? I want to shop local. I want to support local people. I also want to expand my business. And part of that, as Bob said in the beginning, giving back to the community. I know my service level and I know what I can offer. So I want to do that. And then thirdly, when I do need printing or you need assistance, you need a bookkeeper, why not have it somebody who's your neighbor within the community? So I think it's a combination of all of that. And you make it, you know, make it yours by being involved as much as you want to be involved, right? We all know that there's the Walmarts out there of different things. You can go to a Hewitt Jackson or whatever one of those other tax places are. But if you want a local bookkeeper, where you could look on the chamber. You can look up, I'm thinking of bookkeeping world right now. And there's in every networking group I've been a part of, there's a bookkeeper. So I hope that answered your question, but I think it's a combination of all of the above.
It did. Thank you very much.
Anything to add to that, Keith?
No, Elizabeth said it. It's a great resource for everything to do with your business. So by all means, take advantage of that and utilize it. You'll really appreciate and enjoy the friendship and the relationships you'll build within the chamber.
So you now have, Taryn, you now have at least four if you count me, but you have 3 good contacts. So copy down those phone numbers, copy down those emails, and anything that comes up, any problem you have, you hit a roadblock in your business. You think, you know what? I don't know how to design whatever. Send an email to Elizabeth. Say, Elizabeth, I was wondering if you could help me. Here's what I'm running into. And Elizabeth's going to be like, hey, I don't know how to do that, but I
know someone. Right.
Exactly.
That's how you get to know people.
and that's how you build those relationships, because what's going to happen is somebody's going to come to Elizabeth and say, I'd love to have some custom clothing designed. And Elizabeth's going to be like, well, I know a person. And Elizabeth's going to reach out to you and say, hey, I've got somebody that could use some help designing some clothing. Can you help them? And make that connection. And that's how that community element of this should function, in the same way that, once you know Elizabeth and once you know Keith and you know Joan, it's going to be the same thing for you. Somebody's going to come to you and say, boy, I sure wish I could get some help, managing some human resource stuff and some payroll stuff. And you're going to be like, hang on, I know someone that would be happy to talk to you about that. And you're going to shoot Elizabeth a note. Elizabeth's like, yeah, hook me up. Give me a phone number. I'll talk to him. That's how that works, because we become more than just people we know. We become people that are rooting for each other and people that are looking for opportunities to help each other. And when you decide I need a building because I've outgrown Green Flag and I'm going to need 300,000 square feet. Well, a person now that's going to be able to find you 300,000 square feet somewhere, right, Joan? But especially because this is how you're going to take advantage of opportunity when it comes, because you don't know when opportunity is going to knock at the door, right? So you don't know when somebody is going to reach out to you and say, wait, I could use 5,000 or whatever, right? Some ridiculous amount of clothing that you're going to be like, well, I've got my little Green Flag space, but I don't know what else I've got. But you don't want to say no to that, right? You want to start making phone calls and say, Keith, Elizabeth, Joan, help me. I've got this great opportunity. And everybody's going to be like, okay, let's get this done. Let's make this happen for you. And we're all going to do that because that's how it works. That's how it should work. So that's like, I cover mostly the technical side of it, but really the most important is the people side of it. It is that this person is someone that I can go to if I need help with, or I know that this person is really good at what they do, and if I send them somebody, that person's gonna get taken care of. And that's what a chamber is supposed to do for you. So,
and if I may, a big part of it too is the staff at the chamber, right? I know that if I'm looking for someone and I've reached out within the community of the people and other ambassadors that I do know, I can always turn to Teresa, because Teresa knows everybody that's walked through those doors. And Teresa knows everybody online, right? So she's a great resource. I can always call up Linda, right? And ask her for assistance. And the same thing, if I want an introduction to someone and I don't meet someone within the community, then I'm going to reach out to the membership and go, hey, can you guys hook me up? Right? Because we're all paying our dues and we all know what we're here for. But sometimes you're not getting that right connection, right? Who might be the face in the company is the worker ant, but I want to get to, I want to get to the queen bee.
Right.
So the chamber's always been helpful themselves, reaching out to the staff.
The other piece of that too, Taryn, is you don't know what you don't know, right? So, you're just getting started. There's a lot of decision making and a lot of management sort of work that would need to be done, where your experience level may not have prepared you for that. And so you can always reach out, call Joan and say, Joan's been in IT for 30 years. She's been in management. She's managed large organizations and large things. And you can call her up and say, Joan, I need help. I'm running into this kind of weird decision-making process and I don't know how to handle it. And she's going to say, okay, well, tell me what's going on. And she's going to give you the benefit of her experience. And that is just as huge as finding a vendor for a particular product or anything like that, especially for if you're just starting out. Keith Lawson's been in direct mail advertising for longer than I've been alive. I'm kidding. But a long time. What, 74? Keith? All right, a while. 90? 80? 60? 70? 20? Anyway, a long time. We're just going to say a long time. But if you decide you want to promote your work, right? You decide, hey, I've got this great lineup. We did this great fashion show because there are people in the chamber that helped me do this great fashion show. We filmed it. We got this video, but we want to promote these fashions, to a larger audience. You want to talk Keith because that's what he's done all his life, is he's promoted stuff to large audiences. So, that's where you get to take advantage of everybody else's experience. Likewise, when people say, hey, you know what? I don't know anything about clothes, but we need some clothes design. They're going to be like, we got to go to the girl that designs the clothes, because otherwise I'm going to end up with 4 legs and, seams going places that seams don't belong and, that kind of thing. So, but that's really the benefit. That's why everybody should be a chamber. But at the end of the day, you've got to step up and want it, and you've got to be ready to take action to make it happen, because it's not just going to come to you. And this is the message that really what this comes down to is, we can do everything in our power. Myself, Keith, Elizabeth, Joan, Dan, Sally, Teresa, Linda, everybody. But if you as the owner of the business don't kind of put up a little bit and get to work, then there's not a lot we can all do for you. So,
Bob, that kind of brings me up to a question I have. Can you talk just for a minute about how these people can become involved? I mean, we've talked about how they can use the website and certainly to post and use that website to their advantage, but how can they become involved with the chamber? Like, I'm sure you've got members who are incognito. You never see them. They never do anything. But I want the green flaggers to kind of think, hey, we can get involved. We can rub shoulders. I know that during COVID, it's a little bit different. You're not having real meetings. You're having virtual meetings and things. But could you maybe talk a little bit about how we can become involved?
So let's, I'm kind of cheating. I'm putting some stuff up here to share because I kind of want to show you a couple of things that you can take advantage of. And Taryn, these are things that you can take advantage of right now. Like it's literally as soon as we get off this call, or if I'm boring, you can do them while we're on the call. I'm good with that too. So let me just bring that up real quick so that I have that ready. There we go. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. And, oh, look at that. We got some stuff happening. So let me share my screen again real quick. Boop, boop. All right, so back to the website. The easiest and quickest way to get engaged is through the events. So if you just go to events and you see Chamber Event Calendar, you will see a list of all of the events, including the event that we're in right now, but all the events that the Chamber runs. Right now, because our events are virtual, we do not charge an entry fee for any of the events. So you can say, I'm interested in veterans. I am passionate about veterans. You can actually say, I want to be at this veterans program meeting and I want to learn more about that program. You're interested in, maybe you care for an older loved one. You can register for that event. You can register for, well, let's see, we're having a government affairs. You're interested in government. You can actually be engaged in the process that we use as a chamber to represent you as a member to our local, state, and federal government. And you can have your voice heard in that. So you can say, I think that that's a good idea, or I think this isn't a good idea, and here's why. So it's a huge plus to have that access. And we have that with all kinds of things. So one thing I will task you with, Taryn, there is a virtual Good News Girlfriends Club. This happens every Friday. Happens at 3 o'clock every Friday. I want you registered for that, and I want you on that call this Friday. And I will know if you're not, because the CEO of the company is on that call. So I will say, was Taryn on that call? She can say, oh yeah, Taryn was on that call. That is a fantastic opportunity to meet other like-minded individuals in a setting where you can ask them anything. So it's a great, great call. Likewise, we do like a coffee time. We do Zoom takeout lunches. We also have something that we call our business referral groups. And I'm actually going to pull them up over here. We'll pull them up over here. So we have four different what we call business referral groups. And those are groups of individuals that meet once a week. Elizabeth is a member of which group, Liz?
Well, I'm currently not a member of any, but I am visiting the central group.
Okay.
Next week.
So the idea of a networking group is different chamber members come together once a week. Each chamber member in the meeting represents its own industry. So there's only one lawyer, there's only one banker, there's only one commercial real estate person. And they come together every week. And what they do is they share opportunities, and they share what are called leads, which is basically, hey, somebody talked to me, needs a commercial real estate person. So I'm going to go to my meeting, and I know Joan's going to be in my meeting. So I'm going to give Joan that information, and Joan's going to get to follow up with that person. And hopefully that turns into business for Joan. So as a fashion designer, and I apologize if I'm totally not missing, if I'm like totally missing what your intent is. But as a fashion designer, you would be the only fashion designer in the group. So if people had someone that said, I'm looking for something, I've got a little boutique shop and I'm looking for something new and unique to sell, but I don't know what that is. Say, well, you know what, let me get your name and contact info. I'm going to connect you with somebody I know that designs stuff. And maybe they can design you a special line of stuff to put in your shop. So they would come to the meeting, they would give that to you, and then you, of course, would then follow up and make business out of that. But that happens every week, and it's exclusive, so that everybody's getting the opportunity to get the benefit of everybody else's word of mouth business. Is kind of how that works. So there's that, but that's actually not also what I wanted to tell you. So on the calendar, you saw all of these fantastic little meetings, right? We record most of them like I'm doing right now, which I don't know what I'm going to do with this video, because this video is just crazy. But we record all of the videos and we put them on our own channel. So you can actually go back and watch any of the meetings that we've held over the last, 5-7 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, you want to watch a Women's Business Connection meeting. You can watch a Women's Business Connection meeting before you sign up for the event. You can watch a takeout lunch. You can watch, we did a big thing with Mesa Public Schools with all the candidates. You can watch that. So it gives you access to a library of data that you can use to help you decide how you want to engage before you engage. The other piece of that is, let's say you have a passion that you don't see being engaged. So, maybe you like global thermonuclear dynamics, and that's not being engaged by your chamber. You can say, hey, I'm interested in how global thermonuclear dynamics impacts the city of Mesa. Can you help me? And we're going to take a look at that. And we're going to say, you know what? A lot of people are mentioning global thermonuclear dynamics. Maybe we better start talking about it more. And so we will. And a couple of examples that are not outrageous, like global thermonuclear dynamics, that we've done that with, we do that with education. So we actually have an education committee that meets now once a month, and it brings together all of our higher education institutions. So Mesa Community College, Benedictine University, Arizona State University, all of our higher institutions come together once a month and they talk about the issues that are affecting all of them. We do the same thing with healthcare. So all of our healthcare, like our hospitals that are members of the chamber, once a month, they all come together and they all talk about the issues that affect them all together so that they can decide where their common ground is and work from their common ground. So it's not so much about them being competitors, it's about them trying to help healthcare in Mesa every month. So it's a unique opportunity for you to be a part of things that you are very interested in and learn more about what's going on within the city, because this is a huge, huge city, not just in terms of population, but size. Like, we're 500 and something square miles of city, and there's so much going on, it's hard to keep track of. Did that help, Dan? Dan?
Yep, exactly what I was looking for.
All right, very good. So, I mean, that's pretty much the high end. That's kind of how you can get some gold out of your membership. The biggest piece is to ask for help when you need it. The biggest piece is to, reach out. Make sure you've copied down everybody's contact info. Send everybody a thank you. And I'm telling everybody, you're going to send them a thank you to, thank you for being on the call with me tonight. And I, that way everybody knows. And then look through that calendar and see if there's stuff that you're interested in, and sign up for the stuff that you're interested in so that you can be a part of that conversation. And at first, you're probably just sitting there, you're going to be listening a lot, right? But then over time, you're going to be like, hey, I have something that I can contribute there. And you're going to start to contribute. And it'll be fantastic. The next thing you know, you're going to run the place and we can all retire and go home.
Amen.
Right? So thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn off the recording now, but thank you all for being here.
Stay connected to Mesa Chamber social media, email newsletters, Monday morning message, and mesachamber.org to always know what's happening at your Mesa Chamber.